Welcome to another episode of Harbor Rock Wealth Management's Planning Tip. My name is Ruben Smith, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend and partner, Jimmy Luster. Welcome.
Thanks for having me back.
For those of you that actually watch the shows, you may notice that we're wearing similar clothes. We have a light day today, and we're trying to knock a few of these out. So
Yeah.
no wardrobe changes.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about that after we were wrapping up the other one. I was like, I don't want to put on a coat.
Comfortable.
This.
You didn't even get up out of your chair.
I think I'm good. Feeling good. Feeling good.
Well, good. Well, we have another topic that I think is fairly important that doesn't get a lot of discussion on these shows, and certainly important. It's a major component of the overall financial plan, and that is estate planning. So I thought this would be a good time to just kind of go through a 101 of what estate planning is, the components of an estate plan, and maybe some mistakes that we see.
Great topic.
Yeah? All right, so let's just talk about kind of the basic components of an estate plan.
Okay.
I think if you ask your average person that's not all that versed in what estate planning is, they'd say, "Oh, it's a will. I got a will. I have an estate plan." Well,
I think of Thurston Howell III and Lovey
Okay.
from Gilligan's Island.
okay, so maybe you're thinking like the affluent.
I immediately think, I have a vision in my mind. Like I have a house in the Hamptons.
Okay, you have an estate.
Right. There is an actual estate, the estate of
There you go.
Jimmy Howell III.
Okay.
I like the sound of that.
Okay. So I think there's a lot of misconceptions around
Yeah.
estate planning. Maybe that maybe you have to have a bunch of assets, or you have to have extreme wealth.
Or like you employ like 20 helpers at the house. I see all these like 80s movies. I think of that growing up, like seeing these big mansions and the
Yeah.
butler and
That was classic for the 80s, like
To-
the 80s mansion with the big
totally.
double staircases and marble and.
yeah, some shows like Different Strokes, Silver Spoon,
All right. Okay.
All
Or
right.
Money Pit.
product of my environment. The Money Pit.
Okay, we're getting off topic.
All
But so let's talk about. I think there's some misconceptions there with estate planning, and I think we can, if we nail down what the components are on a very high level of what's included in an estate plan, I think this will hopefully answer some questions for clients and get them motivated to go ahead and create their own estate plan.
Be a little less intimidating, at least.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
So let's start with the will. So
Okay.
yes, a living will is absolutely a component of an estate plan. This typically is not a document that will hold up in court.
But it is also the one that we hear the most. No, I got a will. I'm good.
Absolutely, it's the most common.
All the time. No, I got a will.
Because technically, you could go on your computer into a Word doc and create a will.
I could even write it on a napkin.
You absolutely could.
Yeah.
Now, will that hold up in a family argument or a family I shouldn't say argument, but discussion over who gets what?
Yeah.
Typically, wills are good for distributing personal assets.
Yeah.
And this could be a family heirloom. This could be a favorite chair. It could be, who knows?
Grandfather clock.
Right.
Yeah.
Piece of art, something like that that's been in the family
Important
for a
family
long time.
heirlooms.
Right.
Yeah.
That's typically what a will is good for. Normally, like I said, does not hold up in court if it's ever challenged, and certainly would not hold up from a probate case, which leads me into the next component of an estate plan, which is a trust.
Okay.
So why you have a trust and you have your assets titled in trust is that upon your passing, your living trust becomes irrevocable. What that means is that anything written into the trust upon your passing becomes final. So who gets what?
Okay.
And what portions? It also, because it holds up in court, avoids the probate process. So that means that your heirs or beneficiaries or charities, however you've elected to distribute your assets, gain access to your estate quicker.
Yeah.
Okay, in a more timely manner.
Yeah.
Okay. So another component of an estate plan is going to be regarding health care, decisions, right? This could be anything from upon your passing, do you want to donate your organs?
Okay.
This could be, let's say you have a major medical event and you're incapacitated. Medical directives, advanced medical directives. So do not resuscitate, things like that. These are major decisions.
Major.
Also, power of attorney on medical related. So who does get to make that decision in the event you don't have some of those already in place? So
Very important.
very important. And as a father of young kids, when we did our estate plan, it's also who's going to make those decisions for your kids, on your kids' health if you're not around.
Wow.
So pretty intense conversations, but it's certainly ones that need to be had. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So the other side of this is going to be talking about more financial related matters, as far as in the event you are incapacitated, who's going to make those financial decisions for you, who's going to pay your bills, who's going to have access to bank accounts or your assets to pay for your care. So power of attorney over financial matters is highly important.
Okay.
And then the last component of the major components is regarding family. So it says in here in your trust or in your estate plan who the beneficiaries are going to be of your overall estate. And if you, like in my case, if you have minor children, who's going to be named legal guardian of your kids? Who's going to be taking care of your kids? I mean, that's a major decision. Or what if you have special needs kids?
The plot thickens.
I mean, we
Wow.
have clients with special needs adult children, and
Yeah.
I mean, they're talk about a whole nother set of decisions that need to be made, and
Yeah,
why
that-
you need legal assistance.
That doesn't change when they're 18 or something, or
No.
some arbitrary number. That a lot
Absolutely
of people
not.
have that thought, like kids are out of the house at 18. Like, yeah, if you have someone that, especially with a special needs, that doesn't end.
Ever.
I mean, you're going to advocate for
Yeah,
your child into adulthood.
yeah,
They're going to have a whole nother set of needs, and that doesn't change. It probably gets more complicated.
right, and even more so, it's a lot of special needs children are on certain medical programs or benefits. So they can't necessarily inherit assets the way maybe healthy children do.
Sure.
So you want to be it's this little dance that you're doing as far as how assets are distributed to them as well.
Yep.
So there's also along with that, there's a lot of mistakes of an estate plan. Okay, so we'll go through a few of them. I think the number one mistake when it comes to estate planning is not having an estate plan. Okay,
Totally.
let's call it what it
Let's
is.
start there. Yeah.
Do it. Yes, if you have any assets that you want specific, to go specifically to certain people or loved ones or charities, it's worth it for you to have an estate plan.
So let me pause there.
Okay.
Why? Who is this for? Is this more for the trustee or the grantor or trustors, which is the creator of this estate plan or trust? Or is it really for the individuals who are going to have to act on it when you're not here or
Oof.
can't? I mean,
I'd say both, because we've seen both sides of that, right?
I
We've
mean,
seen,
yeah,
you have, let's say you have older client that's, starting to make those types of decisions as far as how their assets are going to distribute. That gives them peace of mind and knowing that it's going to distribute in a cost-effective way, no probate. But also, do you want to leave your loved ones with a complete mess and administrative nightmare when it comes to getting executorship and being able to get court approval and as far as distributing assets and going through that probate process?
yeah, I'd say no, because most likely you are not going to agree. And let's keep you all on the same page as either grieving your loved one, holding your family's history and legacy in high regard without bastardizing it and stripping away all the great things with details that are important. But let's be honest, how often do we see people, oh no, all the brothers, sisters, nephew, everyone was just in agreement on how everything should go, and that's never going to happen. It
You
just
know,
doesn't.
I'm convinced that money is the root of all evil, and it really pulls out the ugly side of people, and we've seen it dozens of
It
times.
sure
I know
can.
I've seen it dozens of times in my career.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
but yeah, you want to have the estate plan in place just to
Just
because at that point it's final.
be
That's it.
be like the famous shoe company and just do it.
Just do it.
You know.
Okay. So another mistake is not asking for help with your estate plan. You know, we're in a day and age where you can basically do anything online. You can get access to resources and information in there. For people that know what they're doing, I think that could be appropriate.
Technically.
So let's flip the script. If I was not in this career tomorrow, I would be very comfortable managing my own finances and I would use an online program
Okay.
or broker dealer to manage my own finances. I don't necessarily think I'm capable. Well, I'm capable of doing it, but I don't know if it's going to be, if I'll do a good job of going to an online program to create my own trust and will and medical directives. The point of working with an attorney is that the language is up to date. It applies to California standards as far as what they need for language. The other thing is when I went through the process on my end, they're going through these questions, especially about healthcare and who's going to take care of kids and organ donor. That attorney is going to be advocating and educating you. And every family is different. Every family has different nuances. So I don't know if I necessarily trust myself to go online and just create one or ask for help. Okay.
Yeah, these aren't yes or no topics. These aren't closed in topics.
No.
These are all, well, what about this if this were to happen? You said this, but what about this?
Yep.
And, you know, in my 25 years of experience,
Right.
here's also people that I've seen that have done this. Oh, man.
Right. No, I know.
Technically, you can get the document put in place. This goes beyond documentation. I mean,
Right.
this is not just a, here you go, bulletproof.
Yeah, keep it in
Things
the
change.
safe.
This is a
Keep it in the
live
safe.
being,
You'll be
man.
fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, that leads into this next one, which is don't forget to update your plan, or at least sit down with the estate attorney or an estate attorney and review it. My rule of thumb is every major life event, addition to the family, or maybe someone passes away.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a major career change. Maybe there's a windfall. That would be a major event. Or every 5 years, I think you should sit down because estate tax laws change, but they don't change every year to the point to where you need a vast overhaul or review of your estate plan.
Yeah, and once this thing's in place, if an amendment's necessary, you're not starting all over.
It's very easy to
Don't
do.
think of like, oh my gosh, we got to do this again. I mean,
Nope. It's
not
easy
at
to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So another mistake is we kind of hinted on this earlier, but people disqualifying themselves as potentially not being worthy of an estate.
See that one a lot. I think we see that one a lot.
Yeah.
You know what? More people are in that financial world than the other 1%ers or whatever they say. I mean,
Sure.
there's some obvious ones. Oh, I have 20 properties and a blended family now. It's a second marriage.
Sure.
Okay, those are obvious ones that like, okay, let's have the instructions put in place.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally because you have to. I mean, you're going to really be doing your family a disservice. But yeah, let's say you're a 9-to-5er, you go to work, you have a moderate income, you have a middle income life, and
Mm-hmm.
you're not living paycheck to paycheck, but you're watching your money, and you got to look at your ATM receipt, and
Yep.
you might say, I'm not Thurston Howell the third.
Right.
I don't need this. Or
Right.
it's almost like they feel like they're not worthy financially of having this.
I think it's as simple as, do you own property? And it can be a townhouse, it can be an estate, it could be a ranch, it could be what? Do you own property?
Yeah.
Do you have family?
Yeah.
And I think there you go.
Do you have a heartbeat?
And if it's just one of those, do you have family?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Like it doesn't need to be this vast.
Yes.
This vast.
No, you don't need to own the super yacht, helicopter, private plane.
Right. Right. So another mistake I feel is not communicating to about your estate plan, and so this could be to successor trustees,
Oh,
power of attorneys, or even the family. Because let's say,
yeah. Yeah.
let's say you've decided and you've worked with your estate attorney and they've drawn out your plan the way that you want, which is how it should be, and something happens to you and your plan is now irrevocable, right? Your decisions are now irrevocable. Well, if you didn't communicate those as far as to beneficiaries, that 20% of your money is going to a charity or the church or
Totally.
not them, that could cause a little bit of angst and conflict. As
Yes.
far as communicating to your power of attorneys and successor trustees, in the event their actions go into effect or their powers go into effect, please let them know ahead of time because it is not an easy task. It is even though there may be an estate plan in place, it's still work. It still takes a lot of time and communicate that.
I'm thinking of a scenario, and I know you've seen it too, where please, my message to you, all you beautiful folks out there, is to choose carefully when you're doing this. It can be an emotional time when you're starting to unpack some of this stuff and make these choices.
Sure.
Doesn't mean that you can't make changes.
Sure.
You know, you can change this. Who's who's a successor trustee, beneficiaries, and whatnot. But like, I've seen this scenario of, let's take a couple has a few kids, they have a trust, and who did they make the successor trustee? Well, it's Tom's old golf buddy, that now lives 5 states away, and he doesn't even know that he's the successor trustee.
Right.
But he's a solid guy. He's a family man. He's even a little younger than you maybe, and you're like, I think that's a good choice. He'd make good decisions and he would handle it. He doesn't even know. He finds out, and then the kids are like, well, maybe it would have been easier for one of us to be involved, or it actually creates more problems. Now, you're not going to have to deal with that yourself.
Yeah.
Hence, the point of doing this
Yep.
is to make it easier on your heirs, beneficiaries,
Yep.
to handle business for you. This is a business. It really is a business decision. It's family business.
Yeah. Sure. I buy that.
It really is.
I was just while you're saying that, I was thinking of a scenario that happened a while back where beneficiaries weren't updated on accounts, and it happened that just next of kin was put in charge of settling someone's affairs, someone's estate. Talk about not even being on the radar. Not only was there no estate plan, but just next of kin. Hey, knock knock, or you appear to be next to kin. Do you mind settling this mess? And
Yeah,
it's
and you actually have to. So
yeah,
you're in charge.
So anyway,
Yeah.
we're getting a little off track,
No,
but
no.
yeah,
I mean, these are important little things to think of.
it's important to have an estate plan. And the last thing isn't really part of the estate plan, but we encourage all of our clients to have either a notebook or a need to know type file of, in case of emergency, break glass or look in this file.
I love it.
And it basically documents everything, where to go, where accounts are at, what. If you want to release passwords and things like that, that's up to you. But it's a
Yeah.
very specific place. It's easy to find, and it's the starting point for anyone in the event, whether you pass away or you're incapacitated. So
I think
where
that's
they go.
wonderful advice.
Yeah.
That's a great tool. Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Yep. Awesome. Well, I think we covered estate planning 101 and also went into some potential mistakes. So
Yeah.
we appreciate you tuning in. If you have any questions about this or any other topics, please don't hesitate to reach out, and we'll catch you next time.